Good morning. Y'all, welcome to Tea and Testimony. This is where we do what's good for others and not just what's good for ourselves. And if you want to know where that came from, look up 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 24. I think it's healthy to live outside of yourself. Everything in moderation, right? But I hope everybody had an amazing week. My week was interesting. This week I got to talk to my daughter about our move. We're relocating. If I haven't said it a million times already, we're relocating. And for me, this will be my second time relocating. And the first time I did it, y'all, oof, not the best moments. I was really in a mental warfare the first time I relocated from where we're from, which is Ohio. And I did it all the wrong way, you know? So now that we're gonna relocate again, because obviously from doing it wrong, I had to come back to where I'm from. So now that we're getting ready to do it again, it's very important to me to make sure that my baby is accepting of what we're getting ready to do. And, you know, we think as adults, oh, kids are resilient, they'll bounce back, they're good, da-da-da-da-da. It's not always safe to assume that they will be. My daughter is 9, so I feel like she's at that age where she can understand certain things are going on, and I want her to be comfortable as we make this move. I want her to be prepared for what's happening. But I loved being able to have that conversation with her, just to ask her, like, how do you feel? She's nervous, she's excited, she's a little sad because she knows that we won't see the people who she loves here. But she was very transparent, very, very, very transparent. Before I move forward, if y'all see me picking something up, I had to write out notes for this episode. Cause there's a lot we're gonna go through today, and I had to make sure certain things I wrote down. So if y'all see me picking this up and down, that's what that is. But for this week, I want to get into a topic that I have seen over and over and over again all this week. People on the internet, people in real life, like just a lot of people I've been coming across or have been seeing. There's been this thing about being stuck in, you know, your current situation, being stuck mentally, being stuck spiritually, just being stuck. And it's one of the worst feelings, I feel like, because in some cases you may have everything you need to not be stuck, but you don't know how to put it together. Or you may come from a long line of people who don't know how to be nothing but stuck. And for you, it's frustrating because you're trying to gravitate towards some sort of idea of what being unstuck looks like, or getting unstuck looks like. And everybody around you is stuck themselves. So it's frustrating because you're not really seeing what you want to see. But on this topic, before we get to talking about any solutions or anything like that, I want to recognize and break it down, because I feel like we have outer interferences that keep us stuck, and we also have inner interferences that keep us stuck. So things like your environment, family, comfort, familiarity, legal issues, stability, children, money, just to name a few. Those are all reasons to stay right where you at. Those are all reasons to, or excuses in some cases, not to change, not to move forward, not to get to where you need to be. And when it comes to the outer interferences, to me, those aren't as bad as the inner interferences because they can easily be changed. Not easily in all cases, but it's not as bad to change the things that are deterring you that are on the outside. So for instance, you don't have a job. You are telling whoever, oh, I can't get a job because I don't have a car, I don't have this, I don't have that. At the end of the day, if you've got a home and Wi-Fi, those are the only two things you need to obtain a job in 2023. You get a work from home job and be just as fine. Okay? I use that as an example because a lot of us will say, oh, well, I've been here my whole life. I don't know nowhere else. Or, but my family is here. I've never lived anywhere without my family, or I've never done anything without my family. These are all different excuses and reasons that come up for why you can't either go after your goals and dreams, or why you can't remove yourself from an environment that don't really serve you. Now, for me personally, as far as my outer interferences, for a long time, it was the family, it was the familiarity, and it was the comfort. But as I started pressing on in my own personal journey, I learned that these things do not matter. When the environment or the atmosphere that you are a part of starts getting to the point where you feel like it's causing you not to produce, it's not giving you the energy that you want to be exuding, it's not giving you the support you want to have, it's not giving you nothing positive. Those are telltale signs that it's time to reevaluate what you're doing. Why are you here? Where else could you be? You know? And I think the scary part about something like relocating, and I'm just using that for example because that's what I'm personally going through right now. It's different for every people. It could be losing weight for somebody. It could be developing a spiritual relationship for somebody else. Hell, it could just be healing from childhood trauma. Whatever your journey is, at some point, I feel like if we get comfortable with the journey, at some point we're going to hit a plateau. And if you don't work harder or think differently or do some sort of shift, you will stay on that plateau and ultimately feel stuck while you're watching and seemingly other people around you are passing you by. Now, I say seemingly because, first of all, what everybody else got going on ain't none of our business, no way. And we got to kill that comparison spirit by any means necessary. The only person you are in competition with is yourself, okay? If you're better than you were 2 years ago, baby, you're doing great. Keep going, keep changing, keep evolving, keep rising. Because the small victories count, especially when you are on a lifelong journey. Because let's be clear, I personally feel like becoming your best self is something that you have to work at for the rest of your life. Like, you're never gonna just reach it. You know, there's always something better that you could be doing. And how you handle yourself, how you handle your family, how you handle other people, you know? So I just feel like when you choose to become your best self, you're choosing to sign up for a lifelong commitment. Now, that's me. That's me. We gonna give grace and mercy to the fact that not everybody think like me. So for some people, a journey is until they hit whatever goal. For me, this being my best self is a lifelong journey. And the only reason I put it like that is because we change consistently. We get older, we change. Like my 34-year-old brain is absolutely nothing like my 24-year-old brain or my 14-year-old brain. You see, we are always evolving and changing. So for me, that allows for the fact that, hey, if I want to be the best version of myself, we're going to be working on this forever. And I don't mind it. I mean, when you say it like that, of course, it seems long and daunting and possibly tedious. But when you get into the groove of the self-betterment journey, you understand what starts to come along with it. You start to understand what to expect, what to prepare yourself for, and the benefits that come. Because I'll put it like this. When I first started my self-betterment journey, in the beginning of the journey, there was a lot of losses. There was a lot of losses. Like, you know, not the best. But it was losses that I needed, that I didn't know I needed. And after losing people, after losing mentalities, mannerisms, perspectives, I was left to rebuild what the truth really is. And from there, like, it's like a weight has been lifted. My eyes have been open. But I say all of that to say, when you finally come to peace with letting go of whatever it is that you hold on to, at first, it might seem like, I don't know, maybe I don't, but if you just trust the process and stick with it, you'll start to really see some great benefits for yourself. This is why, if you were listening to any of the podcasts that I put out last year, the theme of last year's whole podcast was construction. Demolishing what's not serving, creating a new foundation, rebuilding ourselves. That was a synopsis of basically all the podcasts from last year, from 2022. But it was something that I feel like is worth talking about, because you do have so many people, like I said, just this week, we're in 2023, just this week, there was people talking about feeling stuck, feeling like they can't get out of circumstances, situations, away from people. And this is something that we need to talk about. We can all share ideas with one another on, well, what has your journey looked like? What has your journey looked like? And we could share and compare. I feel like that's the only time comparison serves anybody, is when you're trying to compare methods for, okay, what method did you use to get out of this? Okay, when we compare methods, we're really sharing with one another and allowing others to perceive things from our perspective, which I think is a beautiful thing. Because just because you think one way doesn't mean that your way of thinking is right. And if you're open enough to see things from another perspective, that can sometimes be the key to getting you unstuck. So those were the outer interferences: family, children, place, people, comfort, familiarity, all of that stuff. Now, what's a little more harder, in my opinion, to try to overcome are those inner interferences. A, because you can't see them. You cannot see them. And B, because they're so impactful. Things like your confidence, knowing who you are, that's a big one. Self-worth, That's a huge one. Your inner thoughts, your personal beliefs, and your faith. Because let's be clear, you can't change anything without having faith, at least in yourself. You know, you have to have some sort of faith in yourself to be able to overcome the inner interferences. The inner interferences, baby, they could do a number on you if you don't correct them, or if you don't catch them, if you're not cognizant, if you're just, oh, I'm gonna go with the flow. I used to be a go with the flow person. And let me tell you, it lost me so much time. I don't suggest that route for anybody. Get specific. Get specific. Sooner than later. But okay. Confidence. Knowing yourself. First of all, let's start there. Do you know who you are? Who are you? Through and through. Take away all the money. Take away all the shiny, flashy things. Take away all the accolades and the diplomas. Who are you? Do you know who you are? That is very important. If you don't know who you are, I personally would encourage you to develop a relationship with Jesus. Just develop a spiritual relationship, because when you start to learn what God thinks about you, and you actually start to believe those things for yourself, that little combo will boost your confidence through the roof. It will boost your self-worth, your self-esteem. A lot of times we think badly of ourselves because how we were poured into. The people who were responsible for bringing us up, or the people who were responsible for influencing us, they maybe didn't do the best of jobs. They may have left some of us with more questions than answers. And at the end of the day, when you are trying to become better, whether it's just being your best self, healing from trauma, whatever the case is, you're trying to lose weight, whatever, it is very important what you think about yourself. It is very important what you believe about yourself, because that, in some cases, can determine if you ever gonna move or not. Are you gonna move away from your current state? Are you gonna move away from your current circumstance? And these inner interferences, I feel like, don't always allow us to do that, because as the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so shall he be. What you think about yourself is what manifests in your life. And it is imperative to think the best about yourself, okay? It is very important for you to really believe that you even deserve better. Because circling back around to self-worth, that's another inner interference that will definitely, if you don't feel like you're worthy of the life that you're trying to aspire to get, whoa. If you are doing the work to get to where you want to go, but you lack the belief in yourself or in God to get you there, you working for nothing. You working for nothing. The inner interferences are the foundation and the determination of whether or not your blessings stay or not. And with blessings, they do come for a season. So you could get a blessing and then outgrow it. I'm not talking about that. We'll talk about that another day. But as far as getting blessings that you're supposed to have, receiving what is for you, if you don't believe you're worthy of the things that you're supposed to receive, then how do you expect to realistically receive them or to realistically manifest anything? You have to believe that you're worthy of what you want. And a lot of times that will be tied to your experiences, again, the people who are responsible for influencing you or pouring into you from childhood. And if I could be really transparent with y'all, if I could be really honest, some of our parents didn't do the best job. They may have had the best intentions, but some of our parents did not do the best of jobs with pouring into us, loving us. I didn't learn how to love myself properly until I started to develop a relationship with God. And for a moment in that little journey, I was very upset with my parents. Very upset. Because why am I an adult, a parent myself, and I'm just now figuring out how to love me? Because the people who were responsible for me, everybody always assumed I was good. Everybody. Oh, she's great, because I always had a strong mind and I always had a good work ethic. So people always thought, oh, she's great. She's fine. She's just doing what she normally do. Everything. And we ain't got to check on her. She good. And I was not. I was the furthest thing from okay. All right. And this is why I feel like discussions like this are so important. I didn't have somebody cheering me on, pouring into me. Let's go, girl, you could do it. I didn't have nobody doing none of that. I didn't have nobody saying, hey, I noticed that you're not on your game, or hey, you're off, or hey, there's a better way to do this, or hey, do you just need a hug? Do you just need somebody to talk to? I didn't have that level of support. It was always dynamics, circumstances, and situations where people needed me. So when I relocated the first time, I was at my wit's end. Remember when I was telling y'all that was a bad move? Oh, it was a bad move for multiple reasons. I was at my wit's end. I was basically 3 sheets to the wind. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I just was losing my mind. I was losing my mind because I didn't have the support. I didn't even have anybody paying attention hard enough to notice that I was off. Okay? And the one person who did, I don't know what happened with our relationship, because at some point we end up having a falling out because they didn't have the best intentions for me. That was, and then that's the thing. This is why you got to be so careful with who you give certain information to. That person was the only person who saw me in the midst of my mess. So I was very thankful for them during that time. Once things mellowed out and the situations changed and I was feeling and doing a little bit better, that person was only there to show up to take from me. Every time I was asking to do things, or hey, let's get involved in this, or hey, let's go do this, or hey, let's go have that, all of my ideas and all of my plans would get shut down. But the moment this person needed help at 4 o'clock in the morning, in the middle of the night, who was always the first one up? So be careful how you give yourself to people, because if there is no reciprocation, that's a dead zone. Your energy is too precious to be given to other people just so freely. And especially when you're trying to heal and you're trying to get to a better life, a better situation, whatever the case is, you just want better, period. The people who are comfortable taking without reciprocating, those people have to go. Go. Non-negotiable. Gotta go, because that is so unfair to you. For you to choose to want to gravitate towards the best things in life, and you can't even get the moral support to do it. You can't even get, oh, hey, I'll take care of this so you could go take care of you, and usually in those situations, it's where you would gladly be considerate enough to help somebody else out, to make sure that they can do whatever they need to do to help better themselves. Or like, I remember my cousin was telling me a story about how this girl that she's friends with got a couple young kids. And she is the type of friend, my cousin is the type of friend where If you need to go, you need somebody to watch your kids so you could go get some money or interview, get a job, whatever, I got you, okay? But the friend in the situation was just using my cousin. And it got to the point where she would ask her, hey, can you watch my kids while I go for an interview? Because she said interview, ding, ding, magic word. My cousin did it. And the girl didn't come back for like a couple of weeks. Ma'am, see, some people are very nice in those situations because they don't want to see law enforcement or CPS get involved. But I'm not the one to play with like that. I'm not even gonna hold you. You might have a CPS case messing with me in that scenario because I got so much to do. I cannot keep up with nobody. I got one child for a reason. I can't keep up with too much more than one for too long. Now, but the point in saying all that is while you're trying to do better, it is very important to pay attention to the people around you, especially the people who you give yourself to. Pay attention to what those relationships look like. If they're non-reciprocal, let them go. Shift them, change them, stop giving out whatever you're giving out because you're going to need all of that energy to pour back into yourself. If you have any inner interferences, those have got to be worked on, even before the outer interferences can be worked on. Because you could change your environment, you could change your money status, you could change your stability level. But how long is it going to last? If you change it, but you don't feel like you're worth the change you made. And you change it, but you don't even have the confidence to walk in what you're asking for. Come on now. How long it's going to last if it get given to you? I don't know about y'all. I'm not working this hard for a temporary goal. I'm not working this hard for something to just slip through my fingers. I'm working hard for something that I can hold on to. And when I get ready to let it go, it's because I'm trading up to something bigger, something better. Okay? That's what I want. And I do want to shift and move to what I feel like is a great suggested solution, if you will. I feel like the start to being unstuck in any situation is to strengthen your mind and to strengthen your faith. Now, I'm going to tell y'all from experience. Trying to overcome being stuck without any faith in God or any faith in yourself is ghetto. It's ghetto. I'm going to be first to tell you. It's super ghetto. And epic fail. How about that? It's an epic fail. And I was dumb enough to do it the wrong way multiple times. Okay? And it's like, no matter what way you do it, if you try to do it without faith in God or faith in yourself, there is just not going to be a great outcome for you, or not the outcome you expected, which we get disappointed by people every day. Don't be the reason you disappoint yourself because you wasn't mentally prepared for something, okay? We're trying to minimize all the negativity, okay? And sometimes we can minimize that stuff by being responsible enough to think just, a little bit more better. Think a little bit further ahead sometimes too for some of us. So I feel like healing in general is a very hard process. Just speaking from experience, save yourself time and immense heartbreak by just partnering with Jesus. If you ain't got a spiritual relationship, that's fine. Get one. It's easily accessible. You don't got to go to church. You can download apps. You go to YouTube. It's really not that hard. You can Google if you need to find out something. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no excuse not to be in a spiritual relationship. And I get it's not for everybody. You wasn't taught it, whatever. Listen, my thing is this. We're being used one way or another, for good or for evil. Might as well willingly have a choice. So, now, I feel like when you do cultivate a relationship with God and you have faith in God and you have faith in yourself, I feel like the level of peace that you gain from yourself, from your past, from traumas, the peace and the abundance that you start to get, it doesn't compare to the things you lose. It just really doesn't. It's worth trying it this way. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I have tried multiple ways to be better. I was overcoming immense childhood trauma. I mean, like being born in the middle of a war between my mom and my grandma. They had a horrible relationship. My mom and my dad had a horrible relationship. I don't even know how they stayed around each other long enough to conceive me. That's how bad they don't like each other. Being the oldest of 6 children, being in the middle of 4 kids and counting, apparently. Like, my childhood was crazy. Molestation, rape, by church folk, you feel me? Church trauma. Like, it was just one thing after the next. Like, I didn't get to be a kid. I did not. Which is why I feel like I'm so goofy in my adulthood, because I spent all the years I was supposed to be oblivious to responsibility being responsible. But, you know, no regrets. It made me who I am now, so I have made peace with that. It is what it is. But I feel like overcoming all of that took me so long because I didn't have a proper example of what true healing looked like. So I tried drinking my pain away. That didn't work, and I'm pretty sure I did a nice little number on my poor little liver. I tried surrounding myself with people. Oh, and that's a bad distraction right there. When you have got to be around other folks, just know it's going to get messy. It's going to get messy. I was in the midst of other people's business that had absolutely nothing to do with me. Won't be doing that no more. I tried sex. I tried being in relationships to distract me from dealing with myself. That didn't do anything but create emotional damage, and I gained a couple new ops in the process. So yeah, don't like that avenue. I tried isolating myself. And when I try isolating myself, okay, let me let y'all know, that is the worst thing to do. Because the spiritual warfare that came to me off of isolating myself was just, whew, baby, we didn't even need all of that, okay? We really didn't need none of that, for real. But the enemy seeks to kill, steal, and destroy, honey. So if you isolate yourself, just know you're going to get a little visit. I hope you spiritually ready, because the way your mind get played with, the things you think about yourself, the things like, it's a reason in Genesis when God said he was looking at Adam and saw that it was not good for man to be alone. Okay. Isolation, it's not the avenue either. Like, I tried it for y'all. And I tried running away. That was my last attempt. I tried running away. That was when I did the little move to Connecticut. When I say the grace and mercy of God was all over my life when I made that move, I seen and was around things that, oh my Lordy G. Listen, I saw God protecting me right in front of my face. That's all I'm going to say to that. And it took me, because when I moved to Connecticut, I was basically losing myself. I almost completely lost myself. And it took me almost completely losing myself for me to finally choose God. I say all of that to say, don't let it take all of that for you to choose God. I don't care what people think, what people do. People been against the word of God. People been against Christians since the beginning of time. At the end of the day, when you get to learn the word for yourself, you start to understand that a lot of stuff that you're seeing out in the world is poor representation of who Christ really is. A lot of our churches are not doing the best job. And a lot of people refuse to go to church because that's where a lot of their trauma started at or is existing at. And my thing is this: just because you become better, just because you feel like you are on a higher level or whatever you think, it doesn't ever give you the permission to boost yourself above somebody else, to think you're better than somebody else. We're not better than anybody. We all sin. We all fall short. We all are flawed. Nobody is better than the next. You might be in a better position than somebody else. Fine. But you're not better. You're not better. And so we need to really start normalizing not being so judgmental towards people. Everybody got a story. Everybody got something that they're overcoming or that they came from or that they're trying to just do to be better. Like, we have got to stop with the judginess and the nitpicking and things like that, because the thing is, we could do what's fun, flashy, and cool, but what is that going to do for you when there's nobody left but you? What is that going to do for you when the party die down, everybody go home? Like, when there's no more distractions in the air, what is that going to do for you? Can you sit with yourself? Because a lot of us who like to be distracted and not work on ourselves, we can't even be by ourselves. If you can't sit with yourself, this is the work for you. And I'm not saying that on no funny stuff. I'm not trying to make you feel a type way about yourself, because we all go through something. It's just a shame if you would choose to wait until your life got like detrimentally in danger or just horrible, or just, you know, don't let a bunch of trauma and a bunch of drama fall on your doorstep before you choose to gravitate towards God. Because I think that's the problem. We use God as like a magic wand or a get out of jail card, whatever. And that's not how he works. He really just wants you in its entirety, a relationship with you. And when you start to give yourself to God and you start to rewire how you think about yourself and what you believe about yourself and what you deserve and things like that, your life really does get better. And it's a process. It's a process. This ain't no overnight. I can tell you that now. This is not no overnight process. This is you committing to yourself. And before you can make commitments to other people, before you can make commitments to other things, commit to yourself. What do you need? What do you deserve? What do you believe about you? You know, affirmations, as cheesy as y'all may think they are, I love them. I love them. What do you think about you? Who are you? What are you? You know what I mean? Out of your mouth is life and death. Life and death. you can really speak into existence what you want to have. And the reason I mentioned faith is not just because having faith is something good to have or it's going to carry you through, because it will. But I also love faith because it makes you become a visionary. It forces you to visualize what you don't currently see. And that right there is the essence of faith. Believing in what you don't see. What you know is to be true, what you know is there, but you don't see it. And that's how it is with our journeys. What are you working towards? You might be trying to lose weight. Don't get discouraged, baby. Don't get discouraged. No matter how little or how much you're losing, just know this journey is tailored specifically for you. You trying to get from out of a bunch of legal issues. You trying to just live your life in peace without worrying about the laws, this, that, and the third. Take the time and energy that it takes to go invest in what's going to keep you out of that type of life. You know, everything we want is attainable. What determines if we can get there is the level of inner and outer interferences we have and the faith that we have in God and ourselves. What do you really believe you're worth? What do you really believe you deserve? You know, I feel like there's more than enough here for all of us to be able to have an abundance and enjoy life. But that's just me personally, you know. I feel like there is nothing you can't do if you're determined enough to decide you want to do it. But that's me. I also believe that hard work, really doing the steps, really working it out, really putting yourself out there, because in this society, there is this illusion, this horrible, delusional illusion that things come like that. I don't know where y'all been living at, but that don't happen around here, you know. The closest thing we got to this is manifestation, I feel like. And again, that goes back to what you believe. You could say, oh, I manifest $1 billion. But if you don't believe you're worthy of that $1 billion, you're never going to get it. You know, you can manifest, oh, I want a big house, slim body, I want to be right. You can manifest whatever you want to. If you don't really believe in your heart of hearts that you deserve it, you're not going to get it. So, in conclusion, don't feel stuck. If you feel yourself being stuck, it's time to reevaluate some things. Look at your inner and outer interferences. If any of those things are your problems, do the necessary steps to get that shifted to where that's not an issue for you. If it boils down to it just being your inner thoughts, your how you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself, you don't have any faith in anything, self included, then you need to start there. You need to start there. And the easiest way to build up your inner confidence, your inner self-worth, in my opinion, is to partner with Jesus. Get you a relationship with God and let God tell you what he think about you. Let God tell you who he designed you to be. Let God tell you what you deserve. And I promise you, it's going to be beyond what you thought, beyond what you could even think for yourself, you know? So I love y'all. I thank y'all for tuning in this week. Hopefully I get to see y'all again next week. Love and light.